Most would claim the origins of glamping started with camping. I suppose that's fair. But I start with more certainty. And as they say, the only things certain in life are death and taxes. Well, wouldn't you know it, glamping started with taxes. Most governments impose a tax on the purchase of recreational vehicles that goes beyond the traditional sales tax. These are called luxury taxes. And when purchasing mobile camping units, they're RV taxes or mobile home taxes. These direct taxes are imposed on the sale or purchase of high-end recreational vehicles. And since governments see recreational vehicles as unnecessary or excessive, they're perfect candidates for the luxury tax. Well, in our origins, let's go to the United Kingdom, because in the Finance Act in 1977 attempted to go beyond the purchase and impose a tax on the actual use of recreational vehicles. The bill included both a luxury tax on motorhomes along with the new value-added tax. That was a system that taxed purchases throughout the lifespan of its creation. It's considered an indirect tax, a much cooler way to tax people than plain old direct taxes, like sales taxes. And Europe has a long history of being way cooler with their taxation than Americans. Now, the motorhome tax was highly unpopular and controversial, and it faced significant opposition from recreational vehicle industry and the public. Many argued that the tax unfairly targeted people who enjoyed outdoor leisure activities, but it disproportionately taxed the lower income people who would like to participate. Now, as a result, the leisure tax was abolished in 1997 after nearly 2 decades of controversy and criticism. They did keep the value-added tax system, though. That was just too good of a gig for the government. But during those 2 decades of controversy and criticism, glamping was born. The motorhome Brits started setting up their campers in their yards and inviting other campers from around the island to come enjoy their hospitality. Rather than driving their RVs all over and getting taxed for doing so, they decided to just set them up in the yards and let other Brits come and enjoy them. Glamping wasn't even a term then, but I can just imagine how these first glampers would set their RVs up in their yard, and they would compete with one another and try to add value to the Joneses down the street who were doing something different. You know, Oliver, we should put what do those Americans call the terraces? Oh, a deck on our motorhome. Well, Olivia, the WC is nowhere near like an American toilet. Let's install a flushing toilet. Wouldn't that be the rage in the community? Now, over here in the States, like John Adams hijacking the Magna Carta, us Yankees started the glamp at the beginning of the 21st century. Now, the term glamping didn't resonate right away, but outdoor recreation itself did. And it's no secret that the demand for outdoor recreation exploded. Some examples include national park visitation. According to the National Park Service, visitation to U.S. national parks has increased steadily over the past 2 decades. In 2000, national parks received 285 million visits, and by 2019, that number had increased to 327.5 million visits. Hiking. The same industry association report found that hiking is the most popular outdoor activity, with 45% of outdoor participants reporting that they went hiking in 2019. The number of hiking participants increased by 13% from 2014 to 2019. Hiking and biking are huge in my area of the country. With biking, the Outdoor Industry Association reports that biking is the second most popular outdoor activity, with 31% of outdoor participants reporting that they went biking in 2019. The number of biking participants increased by 5% from 2014 to 2019. And according to the Fish and Wildlife Service, fishing participation increased by 8% from 2006 to 2016, with 33.1 million people participating in fishing in 2016. Fishing, too, is a big thing for us. We don't catch a lot of fish, but I've just started fly fishing down in my creek. I didn't even know I could. I didn't even know they existed, but boy, I'm loving it. And we have a couple nice fishing lakes in town. These statistics suggest that outdoor recreation has continued to grow in popularity in the 21st century, with more and more people participating in a variety of outdoor activities. Ultimately, the glamping movement entering the United States couldn't have been more timely. And here's a fun note. Wendy and I purchased a school bus, from Monument Academy, which I later started teaching for, and we converted it into an RV. It was one of the best experiences of our lives. We thought we were so groovy, and we were. We just didn't know how hip we were. We thought we were just coming up with a creative way to enjoy the outdoors. And one of my biggest regrets in life was selling that 25,000 pound hunk of steel. If I owned it today, I'd park it in my yard and charge $200 a night. I suppose you could say the UK and Europe has about a 20-year start on the whole glamping idea, but it's certainly picked up in the States. And in 2015, a fellow Regis MBA grad, Ruben Martinez, started the American Glamping Association. Now, Ruben and I are now associates in the glamping world, but back in 2015, he was a revolutionary. The AGA's claim is to drive growth opportunities for new and existing glamping businesses by creating a strong community and network which provides education, tools, and resources to your one-of-a-kind business. Becoming a member was one of the most helpful things that I did when starting out as a glamper. Members can access industry reports, marketing and branding resources, legal and regulatory guidance, and participate in conferences and events. Honestly, you consider yourself a glamping host, you should become an AGA member. And you should consider coming to Colorado for the annual Glamping Show USA. They pull together curricula taught by industry leaders, and vendors travel from all over to show off their unique structures. And best of all, glampers get to mingle with other glampers. They trade stories and share experiences that inevitably help one another in their glamping journey. Now, you know my story, and you know that my family fit glamping like a glove. We have found that offering a glamping solution for traveling vacationers and even bust out of Dodge staycationers can be rewarding and profitable. So much so that I believe anybody can do it. They don't need to have all elements of outdoor hospitality in perfect alignment to do so. They can wing it, and with a little guidance and forethought, most people can turn a profit as a glamper. My welder's son, Micah, who I'm in business with in many ways, is the Spider-Man on our newly bought school bus in this 2003 photo. Renovating that schoolie 20 years ago was an adventure for our family, one that made more influence on my kids than I thought at the time. Years later, when preparing to have their second child, Micah and his wife Kaya renovated another old school bus and made a tiny home to live in. Now, they never did move in it. Instead, they parked it on a relative's property and they rented out for $200 a night. Yes, you're reading that right. That's enough to make a small living on. Why do you think Micah and Kai are able to charge so much for a school bus? Because there's a market for it. That's why. It behooves all glampers to take a serious look into the market, which is what we'll do in our next Journey to Glamp.